Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Really excited to be joined by my co-host, Kathleen Bradley, who's looking delightful in red. I love that. Bye, her.
Thank you. Actually, my married name is Red, but it's R-E-D-D.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always so nice to wear red. And, black folks love red, honey.
Sure.
But it's always
Every
a
time.
pleasure being here. We've had some great shows, and we are very excited. We have two wonderful, beautiful young ladies
Yes,
here
we do.
today.
Yeah.
And without any further ado,
Sure. Well, it's always a delight to have Shanice Wilson with us. You're like family, and it's always a pleasure. And then you insisted on having this wonderful person with you, Miss Tracie Spencer, who we are getting to know.
Girl.
Two beautiful songstresses with just phenomenal music catalogs. We were trying to catch up on just sort of how the relationship between you all developed.
Well, first it started, I was a fan of hers in the 80s. She had her first single was Symptoms of True Love. But I don't remember, we've known each other so long that I can't remember how we met,
where we met.
I just know we
really,
met.
We just met.
We know it was back in probably the early 90s
Yeah.
when we met. And we've been tight ever since.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our show is called Music and Medicine. And when you hear those words, we'll ask you each, like, what does that mean to you when you hear that, Shanice?
Music and medicine. Well, I feel like music is therapeutic. So I think it kind of works together. You could be having a bad day. And a lot of people have told me, they said, I was having a bad day, but I put on I Love Your Smile and it made me smile. So it made them feel good. And so I would say that music is therapeutic.
And what about for you, Miss Spencer?
I feel the exact same way. For me, growing up as a child, I was a very moody kid, and I think most people in the industry, like artists, are moody. We're all over the place with our emotions. And with my dad being a musician, he would play, like Billie Holiday or just certain songs, and I just found myself gravitating to um, wanting to play albums like all the time whenever I was in a mood, or my mom would be like, just go in the basement and go play some music. Cause yeah, I was a handful. So
Sure. And besides the obvious reason for wanting to be able to talk to you, Tracie, one of the things that I'm sure you're starting to get at it, so I wanted to tease it out a little bit because it's called Music and Medicine. It couldn't be more emblematic of your life. You obviously were in the musical field and now have gone to the medical field. Talk to us about that transition.
um, well, I think even as a child, my mother was a nurse, and she um watching her work, and I remember my dad taking me to visit her in the ER. She worked in the ER. And I've always been very curious about medicine and healthcare. And I would say the early 2000s, went back to school and studied psychology because I was going to become like an addiction specialist to help out a family member who was struggling with addiction and mental health. And then I realized that's probably not what I want to do, but I did finish. And I was able to use that as tools to help the family member. Um, and then I would say somewhere around COVID, after my dad had passed, and staying with my mom and helping her out because she was really struggling with the loss of my dad, that I started exploring more of, healthcare, and I kept going, "Oh, maybe I wanna get my PA, maybe I wanna do something like that," and, so I just did my research and felt that becoming an MA was a better path for me, just so I could work one-on-one with patients and also, be able to work under a doctor and all that stuff, and just to learn more, have more experience. So yeah, eventually I may go get my PA, but school is a lot, so I think I'm gonna take a break.
Sure. And I should say medical assisting, so
Yes,
just so people don't think it's a Master of Fine Arts.
yeah.
And for Shanice, I know you've been so comfortable at being willing to share a story that so many people might keep hidden. Talk to us, and we've had a lot of private conversations just about just sort of this discovery, because for so many people, it is so scary to find out a diagnosis like this that they may feel what's going to happen. I'm not certain. We're so used to, it seems, trying to map and plan our future. And when we get these scary diagnoses, they don't allow us to do that. We kind of have to relinquish control. Talk to us about that for you.
Yeah. So 6 months ago, I had I had my surgery 6 months ago. This March, I went in for an ultrasound and a mammogram, and they said, we think we see something, want to do a biopsy. And so they originally told me I had DCIS, which is stage 0. It's just in the milk ducts. And, my doctor said, if you have to catch anything, it's DCIS will not take you out of here. You caught it early, So I was like, okay, okay. So at first I was terrified when he said, it's stage 0. I'm like, is this cancer? Like, what is this? So then I met with the doctor, and immediately she said she wanted to remove my breast. And I was like, remove my breast for something that's stage 0? And I said, well, let me get a second opinion. So I got a second opinion, and the second doctor said the same thing. So I was like, wow, okay. I said, well, if you got to remove one, remove both, because I don't want nothing popping up anywhere else on the other side. So I had a double mastectomy, and the good thing is that they were able to put in implants at the same time. So I woke up with, new breast. But the
Woo!
thing is, when after the surgery, they always retest everything, and they said, well, yeah, you did have the DCIS in the milk ducts, but we saw a stage 1, um, uh, 1 centimeter tumor as well. I didn't know I had that because it didn't show up in the mammogram or the
Right.
ultrasound.
Right.
Now I did a MRI with the first doctor that I met with, and she said, "Well, I think I see something and like a tumor." And I was like, "What?" So then she said, "Well, let's do another ultrasound." So I did another ultrasound. It didn't show up in the other ultrasound, and I was like,
What's going
"Okay,
on?
yeah, it was strange." So then when I had the surgery, first of all, I want to say this. I was praying. I wanted a praying doctor, like a doctor that loved God, like,
Mhm.
and my doctor, her husband has a church in Pasadena. So I was like, this is the one. This is the one I've been, I wanted. Like, and when I tell you she did an amazing job with my surgery. She's a praying woman. She took really good care of me. So to make a long story short, I caught it early. They removed everything. And now, I have to get checked every 6 months, but I just had some blood work done. There's no signs of cancer in my body.
Yay,
God
hallelujah.
bless.
So
Yeah.
I am healed. And but I just wanted to talk about it because I want women to know that it's so important to get checked because to be honest, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but 8 years ago they thought they saw something and it frightened the mess out of me. And then they
Mm.
told me it was nothing. And then after that scare, I didn't go back for like 8 years.
Mm. Mm.
Had
And
I
you
been
know what's
going,
funny? We had that conversation last year
yeah,
about getting mammograms,
did
and
we?
yeah, and I said, "Oh, I missed mine." And you were saying, "Yeah, well, you should go." And I said, "Yeah, you should go too." And I think
That's
my
deep.
sister, who she knows my sister really well,
Yeah.
Nikki, we were like, she had gone. And she was always encouraging me. So it was like when we had that conversation, I think it might have been a couple weeks later that I made my
Oh,
appointment.
good.
But so then when all this happened, it's just, I think it is important, these types of conversations for women to encourage each other to, take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So things
Yeah.
like this don't happen, but she ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere.
That
Oh,
is so
yeah.
true, the
I,
sisterhood.
God has so much more for me to do. So
Yeah.
I caught it early, and I'm just gonna every 6 months for the next couple of years, or I don't know how many years, but they just keep checking me. And I've changed my diet. I found out that sugar feeds into like cancer cells and
Sugar
stuff like
is the
that. So
worst.
I
Oh,
don't do sugar at
Inflammatory.
all.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had bread, rice, pasta. I've taken all of that out of my diet.
mhm.
I eat fish, but not a whole lot, meat. I haven't had chicken in over 6 months.
Good for you, girl.
Yeah, so
That
I
takes
just
a
had to
lot of
change.
It
willpower.
So
really
and my
does.
whole life has changed in so many ways, but I'm just blessed and thankful that I'm here. And I just want to tell women every year, please go get checked.
Yeah.
Had I gone like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have caught it when it was just 0 in the milk ducts, but I waited and it turned into stage 1, but that's still early. So,
Sure
Mhm.
was. God.
so I'm good.
No,
I'm
God
good.
bless.
Yes.
And you kind of already anticipated my question, Miss Spencer, which was talk to us about sort of how the friendship, because maybe this thought has entered your mind of, wow, we get reunited and I'm able to be here for my friend, how the timing worked out that you've been able to not only continue to redevelop your friendship, but also be there for her during this time.
Oh, I'm gonna try not to cry
No,
now.
don't cry. Because I was going to say something really silly.
Don't
But
do
go ahead.
it.
Don't cry.
Don't cry.
No, Tracy, because
Um,
you're making me cry. If
I
you
know.
cry, I'm
I
going to
know.
cry.
I'm going to cry. I
Okay,
don't
no,
even
I'm
know
not
what you're
gonna
going to
cry.
Okay, don't
say.
cry.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
get it together.
Okay,
All
please.
right.
It's. I know. Okay. No, it's a wonderful thing because I think that's how the universe works. Um when I kind of stepped away from the industry and literally was living off the grid and no one could find me. That'll be my new book. Just to
Yes.
live off the grid.
Live off the
And
grid.
um I had experienced a lot of loss. I mean, I lost my father to leukemia and I was there when he got diagnosed and that forever changed my life. And then my mom being diagnosed during COVID with lung cancer and her not being a smoker or a drinker. And so I became her primary caregiver. And um, that was extremely hard for me because I began to compartmentalize everything and I was just a robot. I was a shell of a human.
Mhm.
I wasn't taking care of myself. And my goal was I'm gonna get my mother well.
Mm.
And she's not gonna go anywhere. And so losing her I spiraled into a deep depression and thankful for my sister um, kind of pulling me back out of that and helping me get the help that I needed. But during that time, I often thought about Shanice and um,
Can I say something real quick? I actually went on Twitter years ago. My kids were little then. And I said to my fans, I said, does anybody know where Tracy is? I'm trying to find Tracie Spencer. And then I posted a picture of us sitting on Santa Claus's lap.
yeah.
We took a picture with Santa like back in the day. And I said, I'm looking for Tracie Spencer. Okay, so then go ahead.
No, and the funny thing is, I was like going online every now and then, and I saw that picture. I did. I know, and it would just make me feel some kind of way because I was just in a space where I wasn't ready to really reach out to people, and then, you go through this thing, you're like, "Nobody cares that I'm not doing music or that I'm
Girl,
not."
the devil's a lie.
The devil is a lie.
That's right.
Yes. And so, no, when we reconnected, it's like no time has passed. And I am forever
Yes.
grateful that I can at least be here.
Yeah.
She'll, if she reaches out to me, she's like, girl, I just need a good laugh. Please call
No,
me
when I
back and
tell
pick up
you,
the phone.
she is so fun. Tracy is so much fun and she's really funny.
Oh,
So just recently we had to do a show together in St. Louis. And when I tell you, because this year was like really tough for me, right? But Tracy made me laugh so hard. I was like, this is the laugh that I needed this
Right.
year.
There you go.
So I love her to death. And
aw.
she's my real friend. She's one of the real ones.
All by divine order,
Yeah.
and for you guys to reunite on that level, and having gone through all the traumatic things that both of you had gone through when you were like apart, and now bringing back that friendship and that sisterhood, and being able even more mature now, I'm sure, and dealing with some of the anxiety that you experience with family, and just looking for her at the right time. And you guys were like feeling each other. She was looking
Yeah.
for you. You was really kind of looking for her, but didn't know it. But she found you. You found each other. That is so miraculous. It's wonderful. So you guys are working now on tour or traveling, and what are you doing?
Lately, we've been doing a lot of shows together, which is like promoters are booking us together, which is actually a lot of fun.
That
It
Every time I
is.
get a gig and it says Tracy's on the lineup, I'm like,
That's great. I love that.
Yeah. No, I
Good
love
for
it.
you.
Too.
Yeah.
And I wanted to tease that out a little bit. have you ever thought about sort of just, you were hinting at it, sort of like how God works in your life? I feel to some extent that you may feel like the industry let you down. You had some great music and work with some great people, and then they never released it. So you sort of go back home. Most of us would not think that we should find you in Iowa, Cedar Rapids at that. When you first told me that's where you were, I said, okay, well, she must be doing a local church gig out there, or possibly a
No, no.
barnyard or something. Um, that you would kind of go into this whole medical exploration, learning more about yourself and working with people and things like that. But to what extent do you feel that that is something that people need to understand, that the industry is very, very vicious, complicated, will have you up on a pedestal at one moment and then kind of really not move your project in another?
Yeah, I mean, I literally in between the last project, the Tracie project that came out 2000, I did do two projects in between that were shelved, and then some songs from that were either placed on movie soundtracks, things like that. But I experienced so much being at Capitol Records. I went from, being signed at 11 to experiencing like 4 or 5 different
Oh my
presidents.
gosh, I was 11 too.
Yeah,
We have so much in
we way too
common.
much
I'm
in
sorry, go
common.
ahead. Go
No,
finish
I'm
that.
glad you guys are learning that.
That's crazy.
no.
Go ahead.
No, it's wild how we're just
Yeah.
connected like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the label choosing to get out of black music, but keep me, and I was doing R&B and pop, so I was like, "Well, how is this gonna work?" And it gets very frustrating. It's tough when you're also a female, and a lot of the people making decisions for you are males, and they're a lot older than you are. And so actually the first time I actually experienced depression, I was 16, and I remember um, not being able to get out of bed for like 2 weeks. And my dad flying to California and dragging me out of that bed and putting me on a plane and said, "You're going home." And I was home for 2 months. Um, and I got better. What I needed was just to be around my family. And then when I was ready again, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back to LA and I'm gonna record and do my thing or whatever." After this last album and the last tour, I wasn't having any fun anymore. And we've talked about that. It's like when something you love to do, you start to lose the passion. And I didn't want to lose it completely, but you're not having fun. You're just stressed out. I said, I rather walk away and, maintain my sanity than to lose myself to
Mm.
the industry.
And for you, Shanice, to what extent do you feel that you've been able to really persevere? Because there's always ups and downs, and they're
Yes.
challenging for you too. What secrets might you give about how you've just continued to, persevere?
Well, I mean, I've had moments with, I've dealt with some depression as well, but I pray a lot, and I feel like God has given me, the strength that I need to to move on. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to sing again, not for money, not for anything else, but because I just love it. And then once I had kids, I have a family, I have, 2 kids, I have a husband, and, this is what I do, this is how I make a living, and I'm like, I look at my kids and I'm like, I can't give up. I gotta do this for my children. So I think having kids kept me going too. When I thought about giving up, I looked at my little boo-boos and I'm like, I can't give up. I gotta keep going. And you know what else helped me? I would get online and I had this one fan that would post about me all the time on YouTube. And this fan was like, just like would always uplift my spirits, always had positive things to say about me and would post all these like amazing videos. And when I felt like giving up, I would read all of the comments, on his page. And I said, you know what? Forget about the music industry. Like the fans, as long as they want to hear me, I could put out my own music and keep
That's
going. And so in 2006, I put out my first like independent project. because prior to that, when I got pregnant, the label dropped me while I was like 5 months pregnant. And the thing is, we were about to start on my next project. And when they found out that I was pregnant, I literally got dropped like right after that. So they didn't say that was the reason.
Right.
It was
But
like,
you
you're
knew.
really talented, but we're gonna have to let you go. And I was like,
Right. That doesn't
huh?
Right.
make sense.
Those don't fit
You're a
together.
wonderful,
So I
great and
promise
Sure.
you
talented.
that's exactly how it happened. And so
Yeah.
I got really depressed after that. I'm 5 months pregnant, the label dropped me. I'm like, what do I do? So I just want to say that the fans really helped me, encouraged me to keep going. And that's why I'm still doing what I love, is because of God and because of my fans. So
Sure. And I'm sure that's going to be
Absolutely.
your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway because now we've gone full circle. When you guys are together, and she had told me you guys are going to be in St. Louis, how validating is it when you go out there and see the love and see that people still love you, they miss you, and they really appreciate you coming back?
It's overwhelming. It really is because you do realize how much, all the time and energy you put into creating the music and these songs that, a lot of stuff that I would write or do, are my stories or stories from what I've heard or people have told me, telling me stories. But no, it's amazing because now that I got back on or started Instagram last August, and which is weird. And I read some of the comments, and people are just like, "Oh my God, like I still play your music," or now their kids listen to my music, and I have
Right.
younger fans, and um, just saying like, my songs help them get through some period of time, or our music uh, bring back so many good memories, makes them feel good because of the type of songs that we did. So,
mhm.
no, it feels amazing. It really
Yeah.
does. I'm grateful. I'm
And
grateful.
remember when we did the Sherry Shepherd show, they were about to announce us, and we both looked at each other and you're like, this feels like you said, it doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel real.
Absolutely. It didn't
So I
feel
remember
real.
that moment was like a special moment. We
Hmm.
did the Sherry
When
Shepherd
was
show.
Yeah.
that?
What was that?
Recently,
Last
probably.
September.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was just last year?
It
Yeah.
had to be. Sherry just started her
Really?
own
Why do I
show.
feel like it's been a couple of years now?
Because the
No.
bond is so thick. It's so great. This is on a deeper level, but to what extent do you guys sense this connection? What do you think that it is, whether it's God or kismet or whatever? Because you're literally like sisters in music.
um, I feel like I feel like it was definitely God for sure. And then when I'm just sitting here, I didn't know you came out in 87. I came out in 87. She was 11 years old. I was 11 years old. So we have a whole lot in common.
Mhm.
And I just believe it was just God. We was meant to be friends, and we were meant to, yeah, to reconnect.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Divine intervention. I always say it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It's
Yeah.
God's will. Divinely.
Absolutely. The health message couldn't be more clear. And we feel that it's such a courageous step, not only for Shanice to share a very personal and sometimes scary journey with the public, which in itself is just incredible. Sometimes I just can't believe that you were willing to even share it with me and that you were willing then to say, hey, we're going to do this show. But also for you, Miss Spencer, for her to be willing not only to join us, because I know you don't know us and maybe there's something, afloat, and be willing to also go deep and share that many of us deal with depression. Many of us are overwhelmed by the jobs or the titles or the responsibilities that we have. And first, being able to admit that. Second, being able to draw on family when one can. But also, their journey has been one of faith. And I'm just so delighted to not only see the sisterhood of music, but just the true connection that they share, not only constantly touching each other, but laughing together and sort of being just literally like two young girls who've become two beautiful women and continue to give us so much love through their music. We're foreverly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys. I just want to ask one question before we
Yeah.
go, if we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Are we going to hear something from you guys as a duet anytime soon?
Oh, for sure.
We've been talking about that. So
Okay.
yes.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
It's,
definitely going to do
it is
something for sure.
ordained. It is written, so it
We're
shall be
Is it?
definitely
done.
we want to
Okay.
do music.
You
Amen.
We want to do
must.
music together. We
We
want to
claim
do
it.
like a tour.
Okay.
There's so
The
much
music
that we wanna
first, do the
do.
music. You're gonna
We
hear
could
it.
do
You gotta do a duet.
television.
Oh,
There's
There
so
you
much.
go.
yeah.
All
There's so
right.
much
There's
that
so
Very
much
good.
you
yeah,
can do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it's up to you guys to make it happen. So let's do it. Continue to support them when they're in a city near you, and continue to write them about how much you enjoy their work and how wonderful it is to have refreshing, beautiful, loving, positive, clean music again and again and back in our lives. Thanks.
Thank
I
you.
second
Thank
the
Thank you
you.
for having us.
emotions.
Sure, absolutely. We
All
appreciate
right.
it.